Hi, everyone. Welcome. We are Kim and Kim from Girl Scouts of Silver Sage here to tell you a little bit more about orders. We'll be looking at orders in Smart Cookies for our 2024 cookie program. And I'm going to pop over and show you the screen that Kim is going to be working on. We've got some orders and some, what would I call it, examples and ways that you can work on your cookie booth. And now I'm still not having, so we're really enjoying this process where we are trying to figure out how to show you the screen that she's sharing. It says it's here and then it doesn't want to do it. So we're gonna keep trying because we're Girl Scouts and that's what we do, right, Kim?
Right. We can go through it and then review the video. And if it's not there, we can redo the video.
Right. So, but I think this is going to be like an hour-long video, so I don't want to
Uh,
do that to everyone, but let's keep working. So can you see
okay.
my screen right now, Kim? Do you see that I have three little things on the bottom?
No, I see that I am sharing a screen and I see our images really, really small.
Okay, so what I have, when I hover over the Zoom thing, it has Zoom on the left, you in the middle, and then on the right, it has the screen that you are sharing, but it's not letting me like pull it up.
Okay, well, I think that just means that we can all see it. And I think that's the
Okay,
important part. All right.
terrific.
So, um, like Kim said, we are going to talk about different kinds of orders. So y'all have placed your initial order at this point. And you can view that and any other orders that you do in your manage orders section under the orders tab. When you first pull this up, it will look blank. You do need to click on your apply search parameters. That will pull up all of the orders that have gone through. So you see in our sample troop here, there's a couple of direct ship orders down at the bottom. There's the initial order that's been placed. And then we have a transfer that I did for one of the girls, just to show you an example that I promised the troop leader I would remove all of the things that I manipulated in here today. So
We're gonna hold you to that.
yes, hold me to that. That way she can hold me to it as well. All right. So we will talk about these little acronyms over here on the side in a minute. But if we have, so with our initial order, we've ordered a whole bunch of cookies for our troops, so we can use them at booths. If any girls have sold additional cookies for either girl delivery through their digital cookie or on their paper order cards, in between placing that initial order and when you get your cookies in hand, you will need to do what is called a troop to girl transfer so that she gets those cookies allocated to her so that they then show up on her digital cookie in her inventory on hand section, so that she knows that she has those cookies to then deliver to her customers. It's the same thing if you have a girl who wants to do a walkabout and your troop has said, okay, well, we will give X number of cookies for a walkabout if your girl wants to do that. If that's something your troop has decided, or if you ask them to place an order for cookies, or however your troop has decided, you are going to hold families responsible for those walkabout cookies, then this would be the same process. You are going to transfer those cookies to your girl so that she has them in her on-hand inventory so that she can sell them. Should your troop allow girls to return cookies to the troop for them to use at a booth later on, you are going to do a reverse of that. You will do a girl to troop transfer, which allows the girl to bring cookies back and put them in troop inventory. So if she does do that walkabout and you give her, say, 50 packages of cookies and she returns 10, and then you can take those 10 back to the troop for your troop to try to sell at a booth the next weekend. What else do we have in here? Let's do a couple of those and then my brain will go, oh yeah, this is what you wanted to do. So in order to do a transfer order, we're gonna go back to the orders tab, go down to the third option of transfer order. Then in the drop down here, you'll see a bunch of different kinds of transfers. We can do from the troop inventory to a girl's inventory. We can transfer cookies from a girl to a girl, in which case maybe you have a set of sisters and maybe Haley's inventory. She has some extra cookies and Savannah went and she got an order, but she doesn't have those specific variety on hand. Mom can say, hey, I took inventory from Haley and I gave it to Savannah so she could fulfill this order. Can you transfer those to the correct girl? And then you can do that right here in your digital cookie, or not smart cookies. This is all in smart cookies. You can also, like I said, transfer them from girl to troop. And the last one is from troop to troop. So if we have additional cookies on hand, usually happens towards the end, middle to end of the booths period, where sometimes troops go, oh my gosh, I totally over ordered in my initial order. I have all of these extra cookies. Does anyone want them? I do have a Google Doc that we'll be putting up and sharing on the Silver Sage Cookie Volunteers page. And it is a document that I've separated into Western, Central, and Eastern Idaho for you guys to put down, okay, my troop has this in extra inventory. I'm willing to trade it. Here's my contact information. And then other troops, if they need something, there's a needs page as well for each section. And so there's I want to get rid of this. I need to have these, like whether it's to fulfill a girl order or whatever. So say maybe you have a girl who forgot to turn off the caramel chocolate chip for girl delivery and she's taken a few extra orders, but your troop inventory is depleted and you're not able to get any extras. Maybe there's another troop that has, a couple of extra that you could say, hey, look, I really need a couple of these to fulfill a girl order. So I'm going to put them on the needs page, and that, you can coordinate with another troop to do that. And that would be a troop to troop transfer. That is the only one I am not going to show in person because I don't have a second troop to transfer it to and out of. So when we have those previously called goal getter cookies, that any of those orders that have been collected between putting in the initial order and having those cookies on hand, let's do that troop to girl transfer. So you'll need to go down to the to section and select who you are transferring it to. So I am going to transfer a couple of cookies to Sophia. She has had an order come in for 5 Thin Mints and 3 of the Caramel Delights. So I'm going to make a note that these are her goal getter cookies. And I'm also going to put that as a test, so I remember to delete it from here later. And then I'm going to click save. I was now told that my order was successfully created, and I can print a receipt if I want to. I can go to my managed orders page and see all of the orders that I've put in, or I can go and I can make another transfer. So maybe I have Savannah who needs these as well. And I'll go back through and I can put in another transfer order, take care of all of those, and then go back to my managed orders at the end and make sure that they all went through. Again, once we get to the managed orders, we want to apply our search parameters to see all of them. So now I have on here my order for Sophia and her 5 Thin Mints and 3 caramels. Let's see. So if I needed, say, maybe Sheridan over ordered her cookies here, and Sophia needs a couple of extra lemons. So maybe she needs 6 more lemonades. So we're going to transfer some from Sheridan to Sophia because maybe they live in the same neighborhood, and moms are chatting and they can get the cookies to one another. So we'll go back in here to our transfer order. I will make it a girl to girl transfer if it decides to be nice. So I'm going to transfer some cookies from Sheridan. I'm going to click apply to select her, Sophia, click apply to select her. And then I'm going to give her 6 lemonades and order for today. Lots of extra things because my computer is slow to react. All right, now that order was saved. And again, I have the option to do another transfer or go to my managed orders. So I'm going to go in there, just make sure my order transferred. I'm not seeing it. Oh, why am I not seeing it? I did click all the buttons, didn't I?
Well, I can't see the screen you're sharing, so I don't.
Oh.
I can't say whether you did or not. I'm sure you did.
You can't say what I did or didn't do. All right.
Correct. but I have faith that you did it correctly.
I usually have that faith too. So let's see. I will I will now go in here. So I'm going to create a filter. I'm going to filter just transfer orders from girl to girl and apply those. And I am not seeing one pop up. So maybe I forgot to save something. So let's try it again.
Well, while you're placing the order, I will share the reminder that different pages in Smart Cookies must have been programmed by different people. They have the save and cancel buttons in different places, in different orders. So please do read the buttons as you're clicking them, especially you don't want to cancel an order that you worked hard on and has a whole lot of data in it and then not press save or continue or whatever it is on that page. So Kim, when we're transferring cookies from girl to girl, that also transfers the financial responsibility for those packages as well, right?
Correct.
Great.
Well, I saw that my order was successfully created, but I am not seeing it in here. Maybe it's just going to take a minute because sometimes it does that. There's a lot of cancels in here right now, and so might just take a minute. Well, let's move on to the planned order then, because we talked about that. So placing a planned order is how you are going to order from a cookie cupboard. There's a variety of them. If you are in the Treasure Valley area, you have several that you can choose from. Some of the areas that are a little bit farther out might only be able to pick up from one certain cupboard.
Oh, I want to pop up and let everybody know though. Yes, there may be only one cupboard within 30 or 40 miles, but every single troop can pick up from any cupboard. So if you're traveling and you live in Blackfoot, but you've come to Twin Falls maybe for an event and you'd like to pick up some cookies there, you can place an order through the Twin Falls cupboard. So you're not restricted to your closest one, just so everybody's aware.
Yes, but just make sure that you do either communicate with the cupboard manager or see their hours listed in their cupboard so that you're not trying to pick up when they're not there.
Yes, that is
then
critical.
we will have some unhappy cupboard keepers. All right. So here I am going to place my cupboard order to come to the Boise office. We are going to place it for Thursday, the 22nd. And then I am going to pick a time frame. Some cupboards might hold you to that time frame more strictly than others. I know here at the Boise cupboard, if you place an order for 11 to noon, but can't come pick it up till 1, we're usually a little flexible with you. But not all cupboards have that flexibility, especially if people are working around their working hours or things like that. So make sure you check with that cupboard manager if you are running late or you can't make that specific time frame. So we are going to place our order. Say we need a case of everything. And this is a test. All right, now it says my planned order has been saved. Now this one does not prompt me to go to the Manage Orders tab. So I'm going to go back in there and check on all of those. Don't let see those girl-to-girl ones, and that's kind of bothering me. All right. But now I see in here, I've got a planned order from 2/9, and it is for a lot more cookies than I thought because I apparently did 12 cases of each and not 12 packages of each.
Ooh, that's a great reminder to have everybody check the units of measure. So when you have on that right-hand column, those blanks where you put in the cookies, on the very top in black, just above that column, it'll say packages or it'll say cases, or in some cases, there might be two columns, and one column is for cases, and then the second column is for packages. So you could do, 15 by doing one case and 3 packages.
And those quantities will vary, again, cupboard to cupboard. I can't remember if we set those at council or if cupboard manager set those, because some cupboards might have a smaller inventory and they may allow you to select individual packages sooner than other cupboards. I'm glad I'm deleting all of these. She's not Kate would be so mad at me.
You'll
Okay.
take care of it.
We will take care of it. These won't be in there. Okay, so now say I do, mess up my planned order. I can edit it. So I am going to change these. I want one case of each of them. So I believe you have up to noon on the day before you actually pick up your order to make any edits. So if you do go and I place this order for the wrong amount, I don't need 12 cases of each. I just need one case of each. And I am able to go back in there. I am able to edit, save it, save my changes. Then when I go back into my managed orders, there we go. My planned order looks a little bit better now.
Cool. Well, before we move on from planned
Yes.
orders, there is something I'd like to share with everyone about them. And that is, yes, it's letting the system know and letting the cupboard know that you're coming to pick up cookies. But you know what it also is? It's information for the Kims that there's going to be demand on that cupboard in a certain time frame. And so that gives us time. If you submit your order, we would love it if you would submit your planned order by noon on Monday every week for that coming weekend. That will give us time to get cookies in from wherever ABC's giant warehouse is, and then get them to Airvan. Airvan has to count them. Then I tell Airvan, okay, now I need you to take these cookies to 8 different cupboards. And then they have to distribute the cookies, put them on a truck, get them to the cupboard. The cupboard has to count them and then get them ready for you. So
it's a process.
If it is a process, and you know what, with 8 or 9, depending on how many caramel chocolate chips we have, with all those varieties and all those locations, I can't guess. I mean, obviously I can guess, but I can't, it's statistically improbable that I would ever guess all 8 varieties at all the cupboards correctly every week. That's just probably not going to happen. But if I have your planned orders on Monday and I have time to get orders into ABC and Airvan, then I'm not guessing anymore. Then I'm using real facts and real information. And of course, I would add some to it in case you aren't able to add it by Monday. And I would also like you to feel free to add it on Monday. And then by, Wednesday, if you need more, add to your planned order. That's okay. You can edit your planned order until you pick it up and it's released. You can even edit it at the cupboard. We were talking about that yesterday. So if you decide you need a few more things, or if the cupboard does have a few caramel chocolate chip, but they didn't add it to the website, so you don't see it there, you could ask at the cupboard, hey, do you have maybe 2 or 3 of these I could grab for an order? Or, do you have a case I can grab for a cookie booth? They might have it there. So as long as it's not restricted, you're welcome to ask and see what they're able to do for you. And then they can add those caramel chocolate chips onto your order for you. So anyway, please do let us use those planned orders as information, and they are most useful to us when they're submitted by Monday for the weekend coming up.
The other thing about planned orders is that you can place a planned order. You can place as many as you want. And your troop is not financially responsible for those planned orders until you pick them up. They've been confirmed and been transferred to your troop. So I could place this order for a case of each. And then when I get to the cupboard, go, I really didn't need that many Toast J's. Let me drop that down, or let me just remove the case entirely, because I think I'm going to have enough to cover our booths this weekend. And I don't think I need that right now. So your cupboard manager can then go and remove that from your order, edit, modify, save it. And then they will only transfer you the cookies that you actually put in your vehicle. And that's the ones that you're responsible for financially as a troop.
That's a great point, Kim. Thanks.
Mhm. I know that question came up a few times. Uh,
Mhm.
okay. Let's see. Anything else I wanted to talk about in there? Also in this orders tab, you do have your tracked cookie share or your troop cookie share and your virtual cookie share. So if you have girls that have collected any other cookie share orders outside of their digital cookie system and you need to assign those to a girl, you can do that in the track cookie share or virtual cookie share. Biggest difference is the virtual cookie share is our council run donation program to the Idaho Food Bank, and that those are not included in troop inventory because they come directly to council. We handle all of that. If you are doing a troop donation location and you need to track it that way, those do also need to be allocated in your track cookie share and in your inventory. So if you're at a booth and you have somebody that's like, oh, hey, I want to donate a package of cookies, you can say, great. And then after that booth, you'll mark a tracked cookie share, but then maybe also add another Thin Mint into one of your girls when you're using the booth divider or however you're transferring your cookies. But you'll want to make sure you allocate that inventory as well as mark that one is for a cookie share. Otherwise, your inventory numbers will be a bit off at the end. But I think we'll have more about that in another video. I've had questions, so I wanted to just touch it. What else are we going to talk about today? Other thing we're going to talk about is financial transactions, because I know you've got girls who are turning in cash and things like that that they've collected for some of those orders. So that is going to be under your financial transactions in the finances tab. You have two tabs up here to see those. So your troop transactions, these will be all of your transactions that happen by credit cards. So those you will all see in here. So we've got the direct ship orders up here. And not exactly sure what these two are, but I'm sure Kate knows what that means. Then we have in here our girl transactions. So I have Savannah here that has taken a couple of credit card payments. So those pop up in there. Now, if I need to say that Sophia has handed me $50, $60 in cash, let's make it reasonable for $6 cookie boxes. So Sophia, hold on, I am getting ahead of myself. All right, I don't know if it's in close. Oh, there you go. So down here at the bottom, you can add a girl transaction. So we're going to choose our girl. I'm going to choose Sophia. And one transaction type. I have to slow down my clicking.
Are you too fast for the computer?
I am too fast for the computer. All right, so this is a payment. I'm going to say she brought in cash. Date. My computer's just being slow, I guess. Put $60. You can use a reference if you want to. Maybe she turned this in at a meeting. And notes, we'll just say cash payments for cookie orders to the initial order. This note could be whatever you want it to be. Just, maybe she turned in cash at the February 8th meeting, or whatever it is that you need for you to remember or to trigger a memory to say, okay, yeah, she turned this in at this time on this day or whatever. If they've turned in checks, you might want to put check numbers in there. You can do checks individually, or you can do them all in one single amount and then list all of your check numbers in the notes, or however you want to do that. Then we'll click on save. And now I see her financial transaction popped up there. All right. I also wanted to show you guys in some of the reports, a couple of useful reports for you guys right now are going to be your initial order report, which will tell you you've got a girl initial order, and then you have a troop initial order. So they're just one of them, you'll just see all of the cookies that are coming to your troop in that initial order. And the other one will be set up by girl. So you know which cookies are given to each girl based on that initial order. What won't be in these reports though are any girl delivery cookies that have been ordered since the initial order. Those you'll have to grab out of your digital cookie in, I think that would be the all orders report would give you that. If you filter it by date, remove anything that wasn't included in the initial order, because I know some troops went and added maybe a couple extra days of cookies to those orders. Some didn't. So if you just kept what it, you know, what digital cookie gave you, it'll be anything that was there on January 27th, anything that was ordered on January 28th and later is going to be part of that goal getter section. See, the other one I wanted to show was the transfer order summary, because we were talking about the transfer orders. One of the things you can do in these report section, if you're going to be using these reports frequently, so like your girl cookie order detail summary, maybe you're using that a whole lot because it's a very awesome report. You can click this add to favorites button, say yes, and then it pops up here in your 10 favorite reports so that it's easy to get back to. That way you're not scrolling down here, trying to find it again, going, oh wait, which one is that called? Is it this one or that one? Or because you've got to order detail summary, cookie order summary, and just to know which one is your favorite, mark it as a favorite. So that way you can keep going back to the same report over and over again.
I love that tip because I can't tell you how many reports I lost when we first started using smart cookies, and I kept thinking, oh, I need to press that favorites button, and it really does save a lot of time when you find the few that you connect with and
Yes.
has the information that you need.
Well, and each level, so troop leaders see certain reports, service unit cookie managers see extra reports. Council level, we see all of the reports and some of them have multiple different views. So our list of reports is like 4 times as long as this. That can be a lot to go through if you don't favorite things.
It's true. It's ridiculous. But also great to have access to all those different pieces of information when we need them.
Yes, it is. All right. So I wanted to look at the transfer order summary. So we're going to go to that. I'm just going to leave it in PDF view. So you can actually filter these by your cupboard. You can filter them by the type of transfer. I'm clicking too fast again. You can also filter it by date. So if you know that you just want to view your planned orders or your girl-to-girl transfer orders between February 18th and February 29th, you can filter it that way, and then you'll just have those that come up. So let's see, I don't want to filter by date right now because I just want to show you the full report. But if you don't filter by date, it'll just show you everything, which sometimes is great and sometimes is a lot of data. Another thing,
and when you say everything, oh, sorry. When you say everything, you're also talking about like every online order and all those things. Like there's a lot of orders when you pop them on there. Yeah, unless sometimes you filter. Yeah.
Also depends on what report you're doing. And then a lot of them have a different viewpoint. You can use them as a PDF. You can put them in Excel. I don't recommend the HTML format just because it's hard to read. And some reports are really nice and pretty in a PDF. And some of them are not and are much better in Excel so that you can remove columns that you don't need, because they'll give you a lot of extra information.
Well, and I would say vice versa too.
Like this one.
Yeah, the other way too. There's some reports that are like 45 miles across, and so it's very difficult to read those, and even worse to try to print them.
Oh,
So
yeah.
one thing that we like to say, it's not a challenge, but you probably can't break anything just by pulling reports. It's just
Right.
grabbing data. So if you want to pull it in one view, and if that doesn't meet your needs or isn't, pleasing in the way that you need it, try it in another format, and that might work just great.
Yes. I do usually love pulling all my reports in Excel because I'm an Excel person. I like to manipulate them, but
Mhm.
occasionally, especially when you've got all the different varieties of cookies, it's sometimes easier to see it in this PDF. Like the one I just pulled up, your transfer order summary. This one's definitely easier to read in a PDF. And if you don't have to sort and filter data, sometimes the PDF is just a lot easier to read. Because in Excel, like all of these would be on the same line and I'd be
All the
looking
way
at a line
across.
miles
Yep.
long. Whereas on the PDF, I'm looking at like 4 or 5 lines right underneath one another. But so on this report, I see my Troop to Girl transfer to Sheridan for 1 case of each cookie. I see my Troop to Girl transfer for Sophia, which it doesn't put anything on there because I filtered it by cases and she just needed some packages.
Aha.
Since
See?
it's not a full case, I'm not seeing it on the report. And then here I am seeing those girl to girl transfers. But again, I'm not seeing them as actual numbers because they're less than a full case. But if I go to pull the report again, and I change my unit of measure to packages, see how it looks now. Now I see everything. So now I see on my second line here, I have 5 Thin Mints and 3 caramels for Sophia. And then we did those 2 girl to girl transfers because I didn't see them popping up in my other orders, but they're here, they're on the order summary. So even though I didn't see them in my managed orders, let's go back there now and see if I see them now. I don't, and that is so weird. Well, they obviously exist, and I will have to figure out where they exist so that I can remove them.
Does the other party need to accept them? Is that maybe what's?
Well, they're both in the same troop.
Mm,
So it's not like I'm transferring cookies to a girl in another troop. They're in the same troop. So I don't know, maybe Kate has an email from that. I'll have to
we'll
ask
have
her.
to see. Yeah. Okay.
I do know you can, I think you can transfer to a girl in another troop. So if maybe you are a Daisy or Brownie troop and you have a big sister troop that are cadets, and one of those cadets wants to come and help at your cookie booth. But of course, if she's helping at your cookie booth, she should get credit for some of the packages that she helps to sell. So if you've got a total of 4 girls, you've got your 3 Daisies and your cadet, and you sell 200 packages at this booth, you're going to allocate 50 packages to each girl. So when you go in to do your booth transfer, you'll have your 150 cookies that you give to your Daisies, and then you're going to do a either a troop to troop transfer for those 50 cookies for the cadet, or if the system lets you, I'm not sure if we gave permissions for this or not, you could try to transfer them directly to that girl if you know what service unit she's in and you know what troop number she has. You might be able to do that directly to her. Or if you've got a mom and me booth where you've got 2 sisters, but they're in different troops and mom wants to be able to split those cookies evenly. She knows that she used her cookie inventory from troop 1, 2, 3, and now we need to transfer some of that inventory to troop 4, 5, 6. So she'll tell her troop cookie manager for 1, 2, 3, hey, we sold 100 packages. I need to transfer 50 packages to troop 4, 5, 6. These are the variety amounts. Can you take care of that for me? And then that troop cookie manager can go and transfer the 50 packages from her troop 1, 2, 3 to troop 4, 5, 6 in a troop to troop transfer, and either put a note that they have to go to Big Sister, or if the troop cookie manager can transfer them directly to another girl, do that girl to girl transfer to go from one sister to another. So those are maybe some reasons you might use a girl to girl transfer. All right. Now I did want to talk about those acronyms. I don't know if it will filter by different ones. If I haven't done them, and I don't think it will. But the most common ones you'll see are T to G, which is your troop to girl. You will see G to T, which is your girl to troop. And then you might have T to T, which is troop to troop. And the other one you will have pretty frequently if you use the booth divider is a T to G with a B in parentheses. And that B just means that those cookies were sold at a cookie booth. So that way you can kind of keep separate what you are transferring to a girl for order fulfillment or walkabouts versus what she's collected at a booth. It might be different if you're doing Mom and Me's out of girl inventory and you're just doing your regular troop to girl transfers for that. But if you're using that booth divider, or if you are doing a troop to girl transfer and you're putting them in the booth cookies column, that B should show up after the transfer. And I know I was really confused with that one last year when I was looking at it, so I want to make sure I note it. The other one you'll see in there is a C to T transfer, and that is any cookies that you've put as a planned order that have been added to your troops inventory from council or cupboard. So that's your cupboard to troop transfer. You won't see an option to make that kind of transfer in your troop order area, but because it can only be made by a cupboard. But once you have collected cookies from a cupboard, that's how it will show up. So that way you know specifically that this transfer was from a planned order that you placed. And I think that is just about it on the transfer orders. The last thing I wanted to touch on, which we'll get discussed in more detail in next week's video, is the booth divider. It is a awesome and fantastic tool that you can use with your cookie booths. And what it does is when you've had your cookie booth and now you have all of that inventory that you need to allocate to a girl, it helps divide it up for you equally amongst the girls that were there. So you can go in, you can select how many girls were at your booth. You put in the inventory that was in there, and then it assigns girls evenly the different cookies. Now you might have some extras and you have to kind of manipulate that a little bit and say you've got 3 girls at the booth and you have 5 extra packages of cookies. You might need to go and manually add 2, 2, and 1 to those girls. And the girl that you give 1 to, you just kind of keep a note in the back of your head or write it down on a sheet somewhere, or if you have a separate like Excel workbook for cookies, that maybe Sophia only got 1 package of cookies from this cookie booth, and the next time she's at a cookie booth, she needs to have 1 extra package if there's any sort of extra inventory at the end. That way you can kind of keep it nice and fair, and you know she's still earning the cookies for being at the booth, just like all the other girls are. So the thing about the booth divider though is when you do allocate cookies that way, is it allocates both the inventory of the cookies to that girl, and it adds the money, because it is assuming that you've collected all of this money for these cookies at the booth. So it is automatically assigning money to that girl as well. So if, you know, your girl didn't take credit card payments under the troop, if maybe she took them under her name instead, that money is going to be listed under her name, and then you use the booth divider and now she's made a double payment. So just being very careful about where that inventory is coming from when we do a booth. And again, we'll talk about it in our next video, but I did want to mention that with the booth divider, adding both inventory and money to girls when you use it. It's a great tool. it makes it super easy to divide all of those cookies out. And then you're doing a lot less math and it's a little bit less stressful for you, but it does allocate both the cookies and the money when you
Can I
do it
pop
that
in and
way.
ask a quick question?
Mhm, yeah.
It doesn't actually transfer money, right? It transfers the fiscal responsibility for those cookies.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
great.
So yeah, because like I said, that it assumes that all that money's already been collected and that you're going to be putting it in your troop bank account for all of that. So it's not going to assign that money to the girl. It's going to assume that that money has already been collected.
Awesome. Well, and I did want to share one other thing. We fielded a question yesterday about the deposits and the ACHs and all that good stuff. And there is another option to paying for cookies, and that is that you can go to our store. You can call in with your troop's debit card number, for example. You could mail or drop off checks. We also have a drop box. There's a black box right by our front door. So if you want to bring it without mailing it and put it in our drop box, it's locked. And just make sure anything you send us or bring us is labeled with your troop number, with your girl name, whatever it is. But we can accept payments here at our office. It's one of the services that we offer. And
here will, of course, be deducted from funds that you owe through things like the ACH.
Yes. All right. I think that covers the orders and the transfers. And then we'll do our Q&A session Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Over any of this or any of the previous videos that you might have questions about.
All right, that sounds great. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kim, for all your knowledge and guidance. And have a great weekend, everybody. We will see you on Tuesday. Thank you so much.